Hey everybody, welcome to History 131, American History 1 online for the spring semester. As you may have known, as you may know by now, if you are watching the videos in order, including the welcome video on the announcement, I am Amanda Zakanis and I will be your instructor in this course for this semester. So this video is going to go through the syllabus and everything that we need to know in order to be successful in the course, where to find things, what the policies are, all that good stuff. So, this is a 3-credit-hour course. There are no prerequisites or co-requisites required for this class, and the last day to drop this course without a grade penalty, so the last day to drop the class and get a WD as opposed to a WF, is March 26th. And if you drop yourself, you can get a WD, but if you miss, if you violate the attendance policy and miss a bunch of days and I have to drop you from the course, you'll get a WF. So it's always better to drop yourself. If you know you're going to miss too many classes and you miss too many classes, try to drop yourself as soon as you hit that attendance policy mark, and then you're okay. All right, information about me. I am in the STEAM building in 124. It's my office. And my phone number is 919-464-2460. My office hours this semester are a little bit different than last semester, so if you had me last semester, things are a little bit different. My office hours I have them on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and on Wednesdays from 2 to 3 p.m. And email is the best way to reach me. My email address is right here, and I respond within 24 hours, usually less than that. But I like to say I'll respond to you within 24 hours just to give myself a buffer just in case. I tend to check my email pretty early in the morning, and then I check it early in the evening, and then that's kind of it for the day. Now, if I'm on campus, so Monday through Thursday, I'll be checking it more often than that. But you can at least count on me to check it in the morning and in the evening. And that is even over like spring break and on the weekends, I'm still checking my email. So you can always expect a response within 24 hours. So, we are doing pre-Columbian America to the end of the Civil War. We've got all kinds of fun topics we're going to talk about, and we've got a 100% online course. You're going to do everything through Blackboard. As you have seen in the Blackboard tour video, or as you will see when you get to the Blackboard tour video, everything is very clearly labeled in the Assignments tab on the site. Everything has a week, and the dates are there for that week, so you should know exactly where you are and what you need to be doing every single week. That, along with the reading breakdown, should have you in really good shape to be able to follow along all semester. And I'll send out regular announcements to remind you of things as well. So, we've also got some student learning outcomes, because there should be outcomes for your learning. And I'm not going to read all of these to you because you can all read, but some of the high notes here. You're going to write argument-driven evidence-based essays, analyzing significant historical developments. You'll be using MLA formatting. You are allowed to use Chicago, which is the history discipline formatting style, but I do not, nor can I, require it. Chicago is footnotes, so I enjoy it, but it's entirely up to you. MLA is perfectly fine. And that is the official format for our essays. You will learn to read, think, and write historically using primary source documents. Practice critical thinking by creating evidence-based arguments and challenging arguments you are given. We've got the 3 C's: change, continuity, and contingency. Change, obviously things are different. Continuity, things stay the same. And contingency is when something could have gone one way and it went a totally different way. It's something that is unpredictable moments in history, something where, if it were not for the decisions of certain individuals, things would be entirely different. Those are my favorite things. We're going to talk about those too. And let's see, we're going to understand some of the economic, political, environmental, and cultural causes that together transformed life in North America. Witness the creation of an independent United States and its periods of peaceful union. We're going to consider questions of race, class, gender, sexuality, region, ethnicity, and culture to evaluate the continuing struggles for equality and access in America. Textbooks. You have one actual for real textbook. There are 2 books for this class. One is a for real actual textbook. It's a secondary source. It's Eric Foner's Give Me Liberty, Volume 1, 5th edition, and the ISBN is right there. And that is the textbook. That's a secondary source. Eric Foner wrote that. He's a scholar. He took information and wrote a book about what happened. The second book is a document reader. It's a book full of primary documents. It's called Voices of Freedom, A Documentary History. It is also Volume 1, 5th edition, and its ISBN is right there. And primary documents are first-hand accounts, things written by people who lived through the experience. So we have things from John Smith, we have things from Frederick Douglass, we have all kinds of stuff written by people who lived during that period, Angelina Grimke, like all kinds of folks. And if you don't know who some of these people are, you are going to find out. We've also got some readings on Blackboard. There are not a lot, though. The first week, everything comes from Blackboard and lecture videos. So that way, if you don't have the books for the first week, you can still complete the assignments. We do not use e-text. So for our course overview, how do we explain the rise of the early American Republic and its subsequent division? Between the age of pre-contact civilization and the outbreak of civil war in 1861, North America became a colonized land, as native civilizations were plundered and went to war with Europeans, followed by the colonies' war with an empire and the founding of a republic. All kinds of stuff. We're going to ask a lot of questions, and we're going to talk about all these different, like so many different groups during these various periods in America and later the United States. We're going to ask questions like, what does freedom mean? What does mainstream history leave out or ignore during this era? And what is the proper relationship between individuals and government? So we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. Topics include Native American ways of life, methods of colonization, the American Revolution, the rise of popular politics, sectionalism, and more. I know you're like, okay, we don't care. How are you going to grade us? Well, I have answers. 20% of your grade is going to be participation. And that is going to be because you are an online class. We're going to do participation through discussion boards. And there will be discussion board each week that there is not a major assignment. So if you have a paper or if you have an exam, there is no discussion board. Otherwise, there is a discussion board that counts as your attendance and as your participation in the class. So you have to complete the discussion board and comment on 2 other students' posts on time in order to be counted present in the class, and also to have it counted, period. Those are due by 11:59 p.m. on Friday nights. And I want you to think of these as mini papers. And I've got a handout for you under the Welcome to History 131 tab on Blackboard. And it's a discussion board FAQ. And it ranks things in the order of importance. So take a look at that. And then if you still have questions, let me know. I will be giving you comprehensive feedback. For the first half of the semester, everyone will get individualized feedback that will not be visible to anyone but you. And it will be on things ranging from content to mechanics to source use, all that kind of stuff. So you will get detailed feedback on your writing for these as well as your papers. 40% of your grade is exams. There will be 3 exams on weeks 6, 12, and 17. There are multiple choice true, false, and there are also identification questions. And if you've never heard of an identification question, that's okay. They are short answers, and basically I'm going to give you some terms. And you will pick 2 terms, and you will tell me in paragraph form, the who, what, when, where, and so what, why does it matter, for each of those terms. And there is a video under the week of the first exam, week 6, I believe, that is just exam FAQ video, and it just sort of walks you through what's expected and all that good stuff. So take a look at that as we get closer to the exam, and then if you have any questions, please let me know. I know 40% 3 exams, it doesn't add up. It's true I can't do math, but this is intentional. The first exam is only 10%, and the second 2 are each 15. I do that because some of you have never taken a class with me before, let alone taken a test from me before, and some of you have never taken a history class before. And so in order to get used to the format and kind of the test style and what's expected of you and how to take this type of test, I count the first exam for less, so that way it doesn't hurt you too badly if it just doesn't work, if you bomb it or you freak out, or, because people get anxious about stuff, especially things that are unfamiliar, and that's okay, that happens to us. So that first exam is designed to be worth less, just to kind of give you a little bit of a buffer. And then the second and third exams are each worth 15%. The final 40% of your grade makes up the papers. You will have 2 papers, 2 3 to 5 page argumentative essays based on course readings. So this is not a research paper. And each paper is worth 20%. You'll have those on weeks 4 and 14. I know week 4 sounds early, but again, think back to those discussion boards and the feedback you'll be getting. So you will have gotten 3 weeks of detailed feedback on your writing from me before you do this paper, or before you submit this paper, I should say. And then that should help you make sure that you know what you're doing when it comes to writing that first paper in week 4. Late work policy. I have a late work policy, and I don't accept some things. Some things I do accept with conditions. So discussion board assignments determine attendance and participation. I said that earlier. I do not accept late discussion boards without a documented excuse. That's a doctor's note, a death in the family, something like that, where there's documentation that you can prove to me that something really, last minute emergency type situation happened, and like your kid was sick or you were really sick and you got a doctor's note or a hospital note. Hopefully none of this happens to anybody, but life happens to us all, so I do have this policy where with a documented excuse you can make up the discussion board if you miss it. Otherwise, if it's late, it does not count, and you are counted absent and you get a 0. Papers must be turned in by the deadline given on Blackboard and in the syllabus. If they are late, they are deducted 3 points for each day. Day, not class day, like day of the week, including weekends. Every day they are late, they lose 3 points. And after 2 weeks, I don't accept anything late. Tests can be made up with a documented excuse, but otherwise you can't do a late test submission. The test will close at a certain time, and if you do not do that, then you don't get to take that test. We have writing requirements, and like most disciplines, you will use MLA. And there's a citation builder linked here in the syllabus that goes to NC State's library website. We also have them through our website too here at JCC, so you can check that out as well. We have a 10-point grade scale, and the grade center is where you'll be able to find everything. So each assignment has instructions, and the primary focus of every assignment is going to be the quality of the content, especially writing assignments. Did you answer the question? Did you support your answer or argument with the proper evidence from class readings? Formatting and mechanics are also important, but they play a smaller role, and you will be able to see specific directions on each assignment. I will return tests and papers within 2 weeks. Unless something comes up, I will make every effort to return tests and papers within 2 weeks, and discussion boards within 1 week. I like to have the comments for you before the next discussion board is due, so you can take the feedback I've given you and use it to strengthen the following week's discussion. And then as we go through the semester, feedback will start to die down after we hit the halfway point. Feedback will be available on request, but once we get through 8 weeks of the class, either you have taken the feedback and you've used it, and that's wonderful, or you are making the same mistakes because you're not reading the feedback. So either way, the feedback will stop after spring break, and you will be able to get feedback on request, but otherwise just grades will be posted after that halfway point. So when reviewing the grades in the My Grade section of Blackboard, you can click on any underlined hyperlinked grade to see more details about the grade. And so when I give you feedback for assignments, you'll find it there. And I'm going to comment directly on your exams as well to make sure you get detailed feedback on the identification portion. Things that you need to be doing to do well in the class. Check your email. I told you how often I check my email. You should check your email at least every 24 hours as well. That's how I'm going to communicate with you. I send out announcements this way too. So at the beginning of the week, you'll get an announcement. This is what we're doing. Toward the end of the week, it'll be like, I'll say, remember to turn this in by Friday night. Especially after you submit tests and things like that, you want to make sure that those have gone through. Blackboard sometimes freaks out, so you might want to just double check, and then you can always email me if there's an issue. We can figure out something to do about it, hopefully, if it's a technological situation. We are going to do a lot in here really fast, so we have to cover hundreds and hundreds of years in about 17 weeks. Good luck to us, right? So basically the best way to do that is going to be to follow the reading breakdown. Okay, and that's also, we looked at that in the Blackboard tour video, or you will be looking at that if you have not watched the Blackboard tour video yet. And that is a handout that has every single reading assignment and major due date for the entire semester. So keep on top of that and you should be fine. You just need to remember that you're going to need a few hours outside of class to make sure that you are doing those things and completing that work so that you're prepared for discussions and other major assignments. So there are lecture outlines. I provide those to you on Blackboard, and you can either download them, and then something that a lot of students like to do is add extra spaces and fill them in as I lecture. The other option too is I also include the notes, which is the script that I lecture from, in Blackboard as well. So some students like to read that as I'm lecturing and highlight the important things as they go through. So there are some tools there that can help you kind of digest the material a little bit easier, and it is up to you how you do that. Disagreement is an important part of intellectual discussion, and arguing out issues is critical to a college education. Therefore, you should expect to disagree with the ideas or opinions of others, especially in your discussion sections. Please always, always, always disagree in a respectful manner. Treat others as you would like to be treated, and use respectful language to refer to groups, individuals, and fellow students. We're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff, gender, race, politics, like all kinds of things that people still get really energized about today when we talk about stuff. And it's okay to disagree. As long as everybody is agreeing or disagreeing in an evidence-based and respectful way, we're fine. And some of the best conversations come from disagreement. So I do not fear disagreement. We just need to make sure that we are being respectful as we disagree with each other in our discourse. If you have any questions, please feel free to send me an email. I have office hours if you want to drop by, if you are nearby. If you are not nearby and want to do sort of a face-to-face kind of thing, we can do Zoom or Skype and we can have a video meeting. That is fine. Just email me and we can schedule that, no problem at all. So our online attendance policy, I talked about that a little bit already. You can miss 2 weeks of class. That is it. So that includes anything, a discussion board. If you don't have a discussion board and you have an exam, the exam counts as your attendance for that week. Anything you're turning in, you will have something you turn in every week that counts as your attendance, and then whatever other category that assignment falls under. So let's say it's, week 3, and you don't turn in the discussion board. And then week 4 comes around and you don't turn in the paper, or you don't turn it in on time, because I'm not going to say nobody's going to turn in a paper because that's 20% of your grade, and that's a really bad idea. So let's say your paper's late, so then you're absent. Week 3, you didn't turn in a discussion board, you're absent. That's already, before you've even gotten to week 5, you've missed all the classes you can miss. So just be aware of that, because I have to drop people when they miss more than 2 weeks. So once you miss that 3rd week, I have to fill out a drop form and drop you from the course. We have a census date of January 16th, and you need to enter the class by taking the online enrollment verification quiz, and that is on the left-hand side in our Blackboard shell. So please be sure to take that by the end of the day on January 16th. If you do not do that, or if you haven't done anything in the class, like the icebreaker or the week 1 discussion board, if you haven't done anything in the course by January 17th and first thing, midnight, I gotta drop you. So please, 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 if you would like to be in the class, participate in the class, and that way you can stay. All right, let's see. Religious or solemn observance, we do have a policy for that. If you need to miss class for any sort of religious or solemn observance, you have to complete a form. We have a form for that. And you just need to get approval from me at least 2 weeks prior. Of course, I will say yes. So you need to have a form, and I will, get approval to you, and then you can miss class and it will not be counted against you. And that's pretty much it. We have a faculty first policy here at JCC, which means that if there is a problem, students are encouraged to come to the instructor first. So I tend to make jokes. I like nothing wild or anything, but I have a very dry sense of humor and I can be a little bit sarcastic. So far that has worked, but I know that especially because we will be communicating via text and type as opposed to voice and face-to-face interaction, tone is not conveyed very well via a printed word. So it could be that I make a joke or I say something sarcastic and someone thinks I'm serious, and suddenly I've said something that's unkind, or I've hurt someone's feelings or something. If that happens, please come talk to me. Misunderstandings happen, and I am a human too, and human beings make mistakes. And so if you come and talk to me, I can fix my mistake, hopefully, by apologizing and talking through whatever happened with you. Just the same, if we're having a discussion and a student says something rude or inappropriate, I will privately contact them and talk to them about it. So it's a two-way street, that whole communication thing. So if there is an issue, please come talk to me first. If you feel like the issue is not resolved or remains unresolved, or there's a big issue and you need to talk to somebody else, you can talk to my department chair, Lance Gooden. His information's on this chart. And so it's basically a hierarchical chart of what to do. So please contact me first if you feel that you can, and we can work through it. Misunderstandings happen, and hopefully that's the biggest problem we'll have in here, is just a tiny misunderstanding. Hopefully we won't have it at all. But that's the syllabus. So it's up on Blackboard, both under the syllabus tab and in the welcome tab. And obviously you're looking at this video, so you've seen it, at least in some form or fashion. If you have any questions about this at all, please feel free to send me an email. And I look forward to a great semester with all of you.